Hello, everybody. This is Bob Samuels from Tech Connector Tech Resources. Happy to see you today. This is a very different podcast than we're used to. With mostly it's around tech and marketing, and today it's about tennis and giving and mentoring and sharing with the community. So it's I'm happy to introduce our speakers today, Jeremy and Leslie. And if you guys can give a little bit of background about what your background in general is and about your background about sort of the future and so forth. That would be great. So, Jeremy, you want to start?
Yeah, thank you, Bob. And listen, I know I speak for Leslie when I say our gratitude is immense when it comes to showcasing our small but mighty nonprofit. So we really appreciate the time and energy you put into this. My name is Jeremy Rosbach, and I've been in tech for the last 30 some odd years, and recently met my tennis coach, Leslie Banks, here when I moved to Phoenix, and she had a little nonprofit called Serve the Future. And I honestly admired everything she did, as well as the children that she touched in the local Phoenix communities. And I had to beg her to come on and help and work with her to raise her voice, her share of voice, and her platform as a marketer that I am. But this isn't about me. I would love to introduce you to Leslie Banks, the founder and executive director of Serve the Future.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm excited to be here. This is new. I was on Jeremy's podcast, but this is a completely new audience. I'm just excited. So I started Serve the Future under the pandemic when we were in the pandemic, and I think a lot of us did that. Bob just told me he did. He started the podcast then, and it's been growing ever since. I've been in tennis since I was three. I played competitive juniors and eventually played on a D1 scholarship and coaching since I was 15. Wasn't sure what my path was going to be. I loved coaching. And then I kind of fell into the nonprofit sphere and very different from the tech industry, right? But that's what we're doing here today is kind of hoping to bridge those two worlds and understanding how we can. And I think that kind of leads us to corporate responsibility, the topic we were going to talk about a little bit today. Um, do do you want to jump in and ask?
I will. So
Okay.
your passion for this, both of you, is infectious, and I just wanted to be a part of it. So happy to have you here, and happy to contribute, get the word out about your great organization. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So,
And
Leslie, thank you for that. And we'll quickly pivot to you come from a tennis family, and tennis has been a big part of your life. What brought you to Phoenix and the foundation, starting it in Phoenix?
Um, I'm from Ohio, and then I went to Houston. I moved with my sister, and I started coaching there. And I coached at a club for about 11 years. And then I moved to a country club, and my husband and had it with the humidity in Houston and visited Phoenix, very dry. And he's like, I want to go. We're going. So we moved and I didn't have a job yet. And so I got connected through someone who does consulting for nonprofits. And so I started just dabbling and a nonprofit. He loves tennis, and that's how we connected. And a nonprofit reached out to him, a tennis one, and said, "Hey, can you help us raise some funds?" And it was COVID, and I directed a camp during that time, and I fell in love with the kids that chose to come during 2020. And I felt it was just so important because there was nothing else going on, and they weren't supposed to be outside. They weren't supposed to be connecting. There was that whole social impact that was missing during that time. We all felt it. And I was disheartened and discouraged with the director with how it was just okay, we finished this project, finally over. And let's move on now with our real lives. And that just, I thought it was terrible responsibility towards these students and the greater community. And so I took it upon myself to just keep it going and eventually formed the nonprofit so that it would become an actual organization instead of just me fighting this fight, the good fight. Um, and so it's just evolved since then, and we've grown in staff. I have more coaches that are reaching these students. And, eventually we hit this tech wall, I think, that where we need to expand, and it's got to be through tech and understanding, doing Zoom, doing podcasts. How do we reach more people and share the message? And we have to use technology to do that.
So I want to pivot to technology quickly, but you started Serve the Future, and the tagline mission statement is empowering young people from underserved communities through the healthiest sport in the world, tennis. What does that mean behind the marketing tagline?
So, mission is to positively impact youth from underserved communities by building life skills through tennis. So, growing up, um, playing tennis, playing sports, if you're going to be successful at anything, you have to be accountable, you have to be responsible, you have to show up with a good attitude and share that with others. If you're going to share, if you're going to, be professional and get better at something, right? And so those are life skills. It doesn't have to be tennis, right? It can be any kind of sports. So any kind of sports, any kind of activity that you can share with others. And so I wanted to build the community around that. And tennis was just my vehicle for expanding that. And I mean, tennis is the world's healthiest sport, right? There's so many sports out there, but it's been proven time and again that tennis is the world's healthiest sport. We live 9 years longer than any other sport. So and with the students that we serve from under-resourced communities, they don't have access to this amazing sport. And by so many variables, and then you have people in those spaces who don't know how to coach. Coaching in general. How do I bring out the best in my players? I'm doing this coaching job because it pays extra. After school, I need a job that pays extra. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at it. It doesn't mean that they care about the kids, and I'm not try to denigrate those coaches that show up, because they are showing up for those kids, giving them an activity. But does it mean that it's safe? Does it mean that they're actually building skills with those kids? And I think that that's so important, and that it becomes empowering when you show up.
I personally know some of these kids. I'm getting to know them as I've been with you for close to a year now. And, when we say underserved communities, these are kids that maybe have a single parent household, are of lower income than most, don't have access to technology or even after school resources like sports. Uh, I would imagine some of those kids look up to you. They are learning things from you that maybe they're not learning at home because mom and or dad is busy at work or other priorities.
Yeah.
You've even said to me, just getting the kids off of their devices and outside. So tennis is
Mm.
just the vehicle, right?
Yes.
To empower them. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I have a student. I think we're going to show a little clip of him, Key, and he came over. He's from Vietnam, and I have many students from Vietnam, and their parents, in order to make it, they all live together in a family and in a big house. And, there's 10, 15 people in this big house. And they recently moved out. He and his parents recently moved out because they saved enough. But I still know that his parents are working hard, And I know when he showed up with his friends and his cousins that he wasn't present. Um, and I think it was a lot to do with what his life was before he immigrated. And and I kept, hey, Key, are you here? Are you listening? I need you to be present. And and it kind of evolved from that. And he's just a treasure. And I'm so proud of him. And he did an MIT um, summer program. He got accepted. And it's just, I've known him now for about 5 years. And so he'll be graduating. I'll be really sad. But I mean, it's been so fun to watch him grow. We have another student who um, English was not her first language. She taught herself. And she's done all sorts of summer programs. And she just recently got accepted to Northwestern. So yeah, just so proud of these kids. We do an essay contest every summer, and we ask how does Serve the Future help you on and off the court, and a lot of it is their mental strength that they come away with, how it affects the repetition, showing up for themselves day after day, and then the coaches are reinforcing that, and it's exciting because it's not just us that they show up for, right? They're showing up for themselves, of course, but then they're building friendships through the other students that are showing up, and it's exciting to see that when we have the big Phoenix Union District tournament and they see kids from other schools that they know through Serve the Future, and they're all hanging out. I didn't do that. I provided that space for them to connect, right? So it's just fun to see them grow.
Uh, Evie, if we could get that video lined up real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Kyle LaCroix. I see he's joined us. Kyle is a very big part of Leslie's life, her mentor, really. He values anything that involves tennis and its impact on children. So, Kyle, thank you for joining us. Evie, if you're ready, let's take a look at one of those testimonials from one of the Serve the Future students. I'm just so grateful and happy that you were able to join us today. I know you recently wrote an essay about your experience in Serve the Future. Your essay was called Positive Mindset Through Tennis. And a beautiful quote from that is, Serve the Future showed me that I can let go of past mistakes, envision a future that is bright, and cherish the present as if it was a gift. So if Coach Leslie was here, what does that mean from your heart?
So that quote, man, she has taught me to let go of whatever I felt like is holding me back. The last point, the last serve that I got out, the last double faults, those doesn't matter right now. The last failure I've had, whether I didn't get accepted to a school, to a program, to anything in life, even if it's a failure, it's a way to push me forward. And I believe that it's not a failure unless I don't learn from it. Like truly, it's an opportunity. And with tennis and with Coach Leslie, she allows me to learn so much on the court. And with tennis, from a point loss, I understand what I did wrong. From a double fault, from a serve, from everything that I do on the court, I could think about what I did wrong, but not so much so that I get held back by that point. But I just keep going with that in mind. And I really think that's what Coach Leslie does for me. She taught me how to let go. She taught me to be in the present and understand what to do right now.
Nice.
So, yes, that was very heartwarming. I actually may have shed a tear too when him and I were recording that. I personally know the impact and see the impact that Coach Leslie has on the kids. And even as her being my tennis coach, she has a similar impact of forget about that last point, forget about that last serve, let's stay present. One more impact I want to talk about is our rock star, Josh. Speaking of essays, Coach Leslie encourages the kids to write an essay every year for a USTA, United States Tennis Association essay contest. And our rock star, Josh, won this year's contest and was invited to the U.S. Open. Leslie, tell us more about that.
So Joshua wrote his essay, and he emigrated from Colombia about a year and a half ago and didn't speak any English. I think that he, understood listening, but could not vocalize it. And it's been a process. But right after he moved, he found Serve the Future, and it was a safe space for him. And his essay really talks about how tennis has helped him because he wouldn't have found Serve the Future if he didn't know tennis already, and he had played in Colombia. And so he won, and he got to go, and he did the coin toss for John McEnroe and Coco Gauff and Venus Williams and Andre Agassi. I mean,
Oh,
anybody that is our age, or older would just love to be on the court and do that for them. I don't know. He's like a John McEnroe, Andre Agassi. I don't know, but one day he will truly understand just how an amazing opportunity he got, and it was all paid for by the USTA Foundation. All week he got to do excursions across NYC, and just so proud of him. And he shows up as much as he can. He actually has a motorized bicycle that he takes to practice because he doesn't have transportation on his own, someone to drive him. So he figured out how to get, and his parents got him an electric bike, and so that's how he shows up. It's awesome.
that's wonderful.
Why don't we switch a little bit to the tech side of this, because there actually is a tech bridge here. When I joined Serve the Future back in February-ish, I've been in tech for a real long time, and Bob knows this. I'm an influencer, I'm an evangelist, blah, blah, blah. I do a lot of speaking engagements. But I wanted to find a way, because everyone knows there's just so much money in tech and not enough corporate social responsibility. So I was able to convince the AI Networking Summit hosted by the Open Networking User Group back in October to be more philanthropic, which they were eager to do, which surprised me. But these are a good group of people, and to bring on a nonprofit like Serve the Future to have a space on the show floor and see what we could do. They just provided the space, and our job, Leslie and I, was to meet and greet as many people as possible and convince them that the kids Leslie is empowering are their next generation of AI architects, data scientists, network engineers, you name it. Key is going into tech. He wants to use AI to diagnose more efficiently brain injuries or brain cancer. These kids will be running the IBMs and the Ciscos and the HPs in the near future. Leslie, tell the audience a little bit about how our message came across and what we still need.
Yes. So, I think that, going back to that corporate responsibility, all of these organizations, every business has a mission statement. And if it's going to be successful, it needs to look towards the future. And the students that will use their organization, use their business, will create more opportunities through tech, through other healthcare, but using tech, come from these organizations. And the only way to lift these kids up is through corporate responsibility. Not the only way, but it is a major, major way, right? And then this is where you're generating your future leaders, as Jeremy said. It's just so important. And so organizations, nonprofits like mine, we need those partnerships in order to go, hey, these are your kids, come out and meet them, see what they're looking for. Can you do any mentorships, partnerships that we can lead. There were a couple of them. They were like, "What do you know? What your senior graduation rate is?" The ones that participate in Serve the Future. Do you know if they're going to trade school? Do you know if they're going to college? And that's what that's what they're looking at now. Not that they're not focusing on early childhood development, but they're looking at our graduating seniors and they want to know, hey, can we expect to see them later on? Well, this is how you invest. You get to know the organization in your community and partner with them. And I know I had a young man who was interested in going into a trade school and now he's looking at college, right? But he's coming back. Like he's an alumni and he's still participating. This is right. My community, the Serve the Future kids are ripe for employment opportunities if these companies are willing to partner. I hope that
Uh,
answered.
yes, definitely. And listen, I just thought of something. I mean, it just isn't the Phoenix area. I mean, I know you've
No.
opened up another Serve the Future in Ohio. We are definitely looking to expand because what you're doing is very impactful, and every kid out there needs something like this in their neighborhood. So fingers crossed, we continue to grow this foundation together and hit as many warm states as we can. Maybe we can think about doing indoor too. But yes, totally agree. We had a lot of interest at this show. A lot of folks were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I love what you're doing." And then when you go to connect with them after the show, you get crickets. We were able to meet with one
Tough.
CEO, one CEO of a tech company in California who stuck to his word and was able to donate to us, and we're very proudly displaying his company's logo at our tournament, et cetera. But speaking of tournament, what do we have coming up that you and I have been working so hard on?
January triples tournament. Jeremy, I do want to go back to your point about
Hmm.
the the conference or the summit, and I really think that many of those people were excited that we were there. And they're like, this is a breath of fresh air to see this in the midst of all the tech. And it is tough. It's tough to stay on community on organizations' radar. And so that one Brendan Flaherty from CPacket did it. I mean, and it that is rare. I mean, thank you so much to them to really having that conversation. I and I think it goes back to the mission. What is the mission of your organization? And if you have a company like ours that showed up to this, you know, summit where we didn't really, where does this, how do we fit? But going, hey, you know what? They're here. They're worth remembering and having a conversation. It's that follow-up conversation. Don't forget that they are in your community. Um, and so going to the triples tournament, and that's why we're doing these partnerships and CPacket, right? And I think that those organizations that truly keep that in their mission statement and have a designated person to look for organizations like ours. And we have many organizations that have sponsored now, we're growing that list. The January triples tournament is you don't see it. It's usually singles or doubles with tennis, but with this, it's 3-on-3 triples. And I love this game because we play it all the time in Serve the Future because it is a more of a team based and you can play with more than 3 people. They just feed in. And so you really get that team community atmosphere. And the way we play it, um, we play with our beginners and our advanced. And it's exciting because the beginners miss all the time. But the advanced players are always like, next one, we got this, great try. There's always, we give them another shot. There's no, oh man, this person stinks. I don't want them on my team. It's, we're always giving them another opportunity and we want to lift everyone up. And I feel like that's why we do the fundraiser around this particular um, activity because it's fun and engaging, and the students are volunteering. Um, and it brings everyone together. We can all laugh and have a great time. We have a DJ, we have food, and we actually in started this year. We have an honoree, and we have a meet and greet the night before who for those partners who are love for Star of the Future, but like I don't play tennis. So the meet and greet the night before doesn't have really anything to do with tennis. It's more about meeting the students and getting to know what are they doing in their next stage of their life when they graduate, and the skills that they've learned, the life skills they've learned through Sort of the Future. And we are going to have some exciting like cornhole and ping pong and pop-up tennis. So it's not just, okay, let's just small talk. Let's have some fun and engaging conversation, create situations for memories. So I'm really excited about doing that this year.
Yeah, and I know Bob definitely pulled a lot of contacts in the Phoenix local area. So we still have room to play the triples tournament. We still have room for teams to play at the tournament on January 10th. I put some links in there. I'm sure folks see them now. But, you know, Leslie, tell me a little bit more about the meet and greet is really for folks to not only meet the kids but understand where that money goes or how does it
Yes.
impact, because a lot of people write a check and they forget, but as a nonprofit you feel very intently that we need to show the donors how
Yes.
impactful their generosity is.
Yes. Meeting the kids, every dollar goes towards the kids and not in some form. We have to have the operations, and just like any business, you have to have the infrastructure in order to make that impact, right? And so at the meet and greet, you see that impact and you see directly how this organization is um, built to serve those students, right? Um, and I just want to stop and say thank you, Bob, for allowing this platform. I'm just so appreciative of you being willing to and opening your heart to letting us do this. Um, and so yes, the dollars, they all go to the students. I mean, in some form or another, connectedness. Um, the coaches, we lift up our coaches for coaching education so that they can better serve the students. That every time the students go on the court, they're with an adult that has their best interests at heart.
How many students are involved in the program?
Oh, we are probably almost up to 1,000 or more because we are in elementary schools.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
one of the school districts went bankrupt last year, so they are condensing the schools. We're closing a couple of schools. We take over their PE classes, and so we have like 3 or 4 coaches to help out with like 30 kids, and it's so awesome to see the kids get more interaction with adults and more positive feedback because it's so tough for one person, one PE teacher to give their full attention to 10 of those kids. So to have more engaged coaching is exciting, and
That's terrific.
equipment, and yeah.
Good
Bob, any
job.
more questions for Leslie? I think we're just a minute or two away from wrapping this up.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful what you're doing. So this has been how long? And so some of these kids have been around for 5 years?
Yeah, since
And
2020. I did the camp that was directed by another nonprofit, and then um, it's been an evolution with the nonprofit. 2021, 2022, 2022, we finally got the 501(c)(3 Serve the Future AZ.
good job.
So
Job.
thank
So
you.
so a lot of the kids go on to college and go on to good things and hopefully carry it on. Maybe
Yes.
not as tennis scholarships,
Right.
but I think it seems very clearly that that it's all about life skills is the main thing. Tennis
Yes.
is a vehicle to
Yes.
But
And a
Exactly.
lot of the kids, they come back and want to coach. If they graduated the Serve the Future program, they come back and want to be a coach under Coach Leslie, to do what they went through with her, is to help and empower.
pay it back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I love that. I saw a video that you guys did with one of them. I think I'll try to promote that too.
Uh-huh.
It's a really nice thing that's going on. So
Yeah. The kids
congratulations.
have a
Excited.
great way of expressing how they feel about the entire program, and Leslie as well. I just wanted to say one more thing. Regarding the January 10th fundraising tournament, we're very proud to be, as Leslie mentioned, have an honoree, a recent USTA Hall of Famer, come out and kick off the event and be there with us. But not only that, one of the Arizona State senators is coming as well to kick off the event. Leslie does amazing work in her district, in that representative district. So to have someone in the political arena who is appreciative of a nonprofit making headway in her own district is what's really exciting. So it's a proud moment to see folks like that come out and want to support us.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, Leslie, any final words before we hand it back to Bob?
No, I just want to say thank you again and very grateful. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you very much for sharing all of this. It's, we all, we're all, my audience is techies and marketers, but they're people and you're all human. And
Right.
this really hits the human side of it. And, I appreciate both of you sharing with us today.
Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Thank you. Have a nice one. Till next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.